Algebra 1, section 6.1, we're dealing with solving inequalities. So inequalities is still less than or greater than, less than or equal to, greater than equal to. And when we're graphing it and there's only one variable, we graph on a number line. Okay? And remember, when we only have x, we graph on a number line. If it's x and y, then we have the coordinate plane. So in this case, we're just dealing with number lines. Okay? So it's very simple. All I need to do is include the numbers that x can be. For example, x is less than 2. Okay? So I'm going to find 2 here, but because it has to be less than 2, that it's not included 2, that means x cannot equal 2. It only has to be less than 2. 2 is not included, so I'm going to put an open circle. Okay? So with less than or equal to, less than or greater than, I put open circle. Okay? And because it's less than, I'm going to do all numbers less than 2. Okay? And that's for the first one. The next one is similar. Okay? It's also open circle because it doesn't have an equal to sign. So basically I'm going to find -2 right here. Okay, an open circle, but this time a is greater than, so I'm going to choose all the numbers that are bigger than -2. Now when we get to c, it's a little bit different because now it has that line underneath. What that line underneath means that it can be z is less than 1, but it also can be equal to 1. So it's said z is less than or equal to 1. That means 1 can be included as an answer for z. So when I have a line underneath, so less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, this means that I include it, so I close the circle. Okay? So that means this, I find the number 1 right here, and I'm going to do close circle. And this I have less, so all the numbers that are less than 1 and 1 included, and I put an arrow because just because my number line stops doesn't mean the answer stopped. And my last one is 0 is greater than or equal to d. Okay? So that means d, all numbers 0 or greater is can be d. So d, let's see, so 0 is found right here, and because it has a line underneath, we're going to do closed circle. And it's all numbers, d is less than all that is 0, so all numbers that are 0 or greater, so right here equals, that can be d. It's a little bit more complicated when this is on this side. You can always switch it if you want, but it gets a little complicated from there. So work on this, okay? When we do the example problems, you'll have some examples. But let's try number 2. It says solve, then graph. Again, because we're only dealing with one variable, we're only graphing on a number line. So, when it comes to plus or minusing inequalities, you can, when you're trying to solve, treat it just like an equal sign. Okay? Everything stays the same. So all the rules that you do with an equal sign is the same rules that apply to inequality. For example, if I want to get x by itself, because that's what I'm solving, I want to get rid of positive 8. Well, the opposite of positive 8 is -8. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. I end up with x is greater than or equal to 1 minus 8, which is -7. So because it's equal to that, let's put this as 0. Let's put this as -7, and let's put 7 here. Okay, you don't have to fill in everything like here, just so I get the gist of it. So that means I'm going to start at -7, and it's going to be open or closed circle. Well, because there's a line, it's closed circle right here. Okay, so I'm going to start at -7, closed circle, and x is bigger than -7, so anything bigger than -7. You know what? This one, now I think about it, d is smaller than 0, so any number, so it should go this way, sorry. Okay, so -7, this is bigger than 7, I mean negative 7, so all these numbers can be x, and that's how I graph it. So the graphing part is similar to here, and this is very similar to you treating it just like an equal sign. So let's solve one more before I let you go. In this one, I want to isolate m, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I end up with 8 is less than m. So here's 0, here's 8, here's negative 8, right? So m is can be greater than 8. So I find 8, and because it's open circle, so it has to be greater than 8. Yes? Okay. So go ahead and try page 324, number 6 and 10, 324, number 6 and 10.